Good morning. Welcome. Um, it's good to be with you. I'm seeing the chat stream on the side here, and got Phil DJing in the background, and yeah, happy to be with you. So yeah, we'll practice in the way that ordinarily do at this time, and then I'll offer some reflections again on this theme of interpersonal Dharma. And say a bit more invitation if you wish to join tonight to bookend the day and report out how the day was. Um, so let's sit together. Sometimes the first moment of getting still is like entering a pool of water, and we don't know if it's going to be a little warm or a little cold. Maybe just to our liking. But we breathe and we relax into that pool of water that we could call our life. We relax whatever can be relaxed. The forehead, the area around your eyes, your jaw, all the stories our jaw could tell. Just relax. So one of my colleagues says, let your face fall off. your throat softening, shoulders hanging loosely, and the belly, soften your belly. Soften at the surface and towards the core of your body. Just soften. We still have the uprightness of the spine, the alertness that fills out the softness of our body. Of course, maybe you have an established way of attending the breath or body. An invitation today, if it feels right, to attune to the soundscape, the field of sound and silence, of intensity and quieting. Just begin to give the attention to the field of sound. We'll tend to notice the beginnings, the arising of sound, less so its passing. Notice that which is close rather than that which is far, that which is loud rather than that which is faint, that which is sudden rather than that which is steady. All of it, moment by moment, our system tracking threat and opportunity. Maybe it feels safe enough to relax some of the vigilance, to listen to the endings, the fading away of sound. To begin to direct our auditory attention in the same way one would direct our vision, direct the auditory attention to whatever is silent. Whereas we can direct the attention to spotlight some phenomena or others, we can also rest back into the receptivity of awareness, which is not directed in the same way as the spotlight of attention. And sound can be a kind of gateway into knowing the expansive, effortless quality of awareness. Effortless in the sense that nothing needs to be done whatsoever in the house of self and agency and doing. And so I'll be quiet now. We'll practice together. Thank you. It's good to sit with you. So the question, who am I? That's not a question we ask so often, but it has venerated spiritual history, right? And we ask it, we try to answer it. Every answer we might give feels wrong, feels somehow inadequate or inauthentic. And, you know, in our alienation, in that alienation, we have our answer. Who am I? I'm a meditation teacher. No. Who am I? In the alienation, we have our answer. And before the mind kind of leaps up to try to answer the question, it stops. Yeah. Who am I? It stops and it creates a certain kind of wonder, of mystery, and it's a kind of acquired taste maybe on the Dharma path, but we have to learn to love becoming mysterious to ourselves. You know, when kind of the familiar autobiography just kind of cracks open. Yeah, do you know those moments? Something stops and the familiar autobiography cracks open. And sometimes it's the power of the Dharma, of insight, which is often a little startling, surprising. And sometimes it's I find in the beauty and the goodness of others, or a certain sense of like awe for their power, their grace, their goodness. There's something just opens in me. And sometimes, of course, it's dukkha that cracks open the familiar self-story, and it highlights the truth that we kind of get too knowing about ourselves, but also too knowing about others. As Simone Weil said, I am also other than what I imagine myself to be. To know this is forgiveness. Only in our knowing, in our certainty, do we indict ourselves. I'm also other than what I imagine myself to be. And one's child, parent, partner, best friend forever, colleague, coworker, they are also other than what we imagine them to be. To know this is forgiveness. Two Zen teachers meet on the road, one carrying bags, the other asks, "Where are you going?" "I'm going on a pilgrimage." His teacher asks, "What's the purpose of your pilgrimage?" "I don't know," says the one with the bags. And the first teacher responds, "Not knowing is most intimate." Not knowing is most intimate. maybe you know the experience that happens typically with those we love most. Over the years, we get so familiar with them that at some point it's almost like we stop looking at them. Yeah, we stop seeing them. They become so encrusted in our concepts, and the concepts feel so thick. It feels like they almost live behind a 6-inch wall of plexiglass. And then sometimes after months or years or decades, we might deeply look at them. You know, who are you? Who are you? Who are you really? And because we're animals and vulnerable and dependent on many conditions, dependent on a million conditions, um, and live amidst anicca, amidst change and unreliability, uncertainty. Because we live under these conditions, we try to make everything predictable. And with our kind of escalating dependence on others, our love and care, the ways in which we entrust our heart to others, that entails a measure of risk. And so we try to make them predictable too. In the novel Human Stain, the writer Roth writes a description of one character noticing something about another. Previously concealed was the small Popeye-ish blue tattoo situated at the top of his right arm, just at the shoulder joining the words US Navy inscribed between the hook-like arms of a shadowy little anchor and running along the hypotenuse of the deltoid muscle. A tiny symbol, if one were needed, of all the million circumstances of the other fellow's life, of that blizzard of details that constitute the confusion of a human biography. A tiny symbol to remind me why our understanding of other people must always be, at best, slightly wrong. When we're relating to another as a concept, we sacrifice the intimacy and the spontaneity. Not knowing is most intimate. And in making the other predictable, yeah, in making and defining them, encasing them in those concepts, we're orchestrating a certain kind of flatness in how we relate, the spontaneity and the intimacy, the aliveness of not knowing. It's really possible to ignore the fullness of the other person's experience. Yeah. It's almost shockingly possible to do this. And we know them only kind of in relation, in our relation to them, but we freeze them as a parent or a child or a spouse or whatever. And in a way, what's happening is we're confusing their role in our life with who they are, you know. And sometimes I'll glance at somebody I love, and maybe in that moment, they don't see me seeing them. So they're in their aloneness. And there's something very kind of powerful about seeing someone in their aloneness, to see, to recognize their being completely other to me. And we get into these highly choreographed routines with each other where we kind of play out our concepts, we play out our role with so much fidelity. And so it's this orchestration of predictability, and that's very soothing in some ways and flattening in other ways. The teacher, Eugene Cash, on Father's Day, I think, has this routine where sits down with his daughter and says, "I am not your father," and not in the Jerry Springer way, the Dharma way, I guess. It's like, "I'm not your father," yeah. And then she says, "I'm not your daughter." And it's this kind of affirmation of like, our being is not reducible to the roles that we play in each other's lives. And to start to take that in is like, oh, that's intimate. That not knowing, that's intimate. Can we have reverence for the not knowing, for the kind of mysterious quality, the being of another? Can we try to perceive the other outside of our particular relation to them? And can we gaze in this way? Can we put down some of what we know, look with new eyes? This is the exploration offered for your consideration. So we'll welcome to join this evening and Thursday evening. I'll have a meeting session on Zoom, not here. There's a link in that page, or it's on the IMC calendar. And we'll just sit and have some dialogue, 45 minutes, same time actually, just 12 hours later, 7 p.m. Pacific to 7:45. We'll just see what's happening, how interpersonal life is going on this day. So yeah, feel free to join us, and we'll keep pushing forward in this exploration. And it's lovely to be with you. Yeah, I saw some questions about recordings. Those are, I don't know when, it should be soon. I'll check into that, but it is being recorded, and get that posted. So yeah, thank you all. Have a good day, and maybe I'll see you in 11 hours or so. Be very happy to close the day with you all and see some faces actually on Zoom too. So may you be well. Thank you.